Rodgers underneath. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
A season-ending play still fresh on the Cowboys' minds.
No way that he caught the ball, and no way that Aaron Rodgers made that play.
We can have a long discussion over lemonades about all of that.
But the focus is on today.
Our team needs to get to 3-2 going into the bye.
We definitely want to, start streaking out some wins here.
As uncertainty creeps into the minds of Cowboys Nation.
The ball floats, and it is intercepted at the 32-yard line.
Fans wonder which Cowboys team will show up.
There's no panic in this locker room at all.
Mr. Rogers makes his return to the neighborhood.
Rodgers! Touchdown!
But the Cowboys won't back down.
David Irving ripped that ball out of his hands.
It's Cowboys Packers on Cowboys Game Day.
With a tribute to the late, great Tom Petty, AT&T Stadium is primed and ready for Cowboys Packers, the renewal of the rivalry. 3:25 this afternoon in Arlington, and we welcome you to Cowboys Game Day inside the CBS 11 studios. Here, Bill Jones, along with the Pro Football Hall of Famer, the Manster Randy White. We've got Keith Russell here as well, and yes, it is great when the Cowboys and Packers get together, a rivalry that goes back to the first year of the Cowboys franchise. Now 50 years, basically, since the Ice Bowl, which Randy did not play in, but you got to love Cowboys
You
Packers.
weren't there, Randy.
No, I didn't play in the Ice Bowl. I got a story about that one, too. But yes, it's a big game. We used to beat the Packers pretty regularly when I was in my time, but they've always been a great rivalry, and this is nothing different today. It's a big game early in the season. Is it a must-win game? It's not a must-win, but it's a big, big game.
Hey, you don't want to go to the bye week 2-3, and that's the prospects the Cowboys would face if they lose to the Packers today. But Keith's got some breaking news off the top about the Cowboys quarterback.
Yeah, I got some breaking news. Cam Newton dropped by Danning Yogurt because of what was deemed to be sexist remarks. Well, Dak Prescott is the new spokesman for Danning Yogurt. But we don't need yogurt today. We need steak and potatoes. We need Zeke to run the ball. He averaged over 140 yards against the Packers in 2 meetings, including the playoffs last year, Bill. We need Dak to make some plays. Keep that Aaron Rodgers guy off the field. That's the game plan.
And make sure that those cheeseheads, there will be plenty of cheeseheads at the stadium, don't go home happy today. But the return of the Packers means the Cowboys had to relive this the past week. Last January, AT&T Stadium, Aaron Rodgers buying time, connecting with tight end Jared Cook in the closing seconds of the divisional playoff game, setting the stage for the game-winning 51-yard field goal to advance the Packers to the NFC Championship game. Cowboys know what they're up against in Aaron Rodgers today.
Obviously, really smart, really experienced. I think he has rare athletic ability. Both his feet and his arm talent are off the charts. Got a great feel for the game, an incredible competitor.
He's always looking for that play to make downfield, you know what I'm saying? And you've seen over his history, his career, the plays that he's made with his feet and with his arm.
A legend, Hall of Famer, a guy that I've always wanted to play against.
You can cover 1 through 5 the first time he looks at him, but then he'll step back and start directing traffic or whatever you want to say, and the scrambling and making guys miss. And it's just impressive to watch him go out there and do what he does.
And the Cowboys had been preparing for this really before this week. There was one walkthrough in training camp. I call it the Aaron Rodgers walkthrough, where they worked on that pass to Jared Cook and defending that pass, and also the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary. But to get to Aaron Rodgers is going to be the key, right?
Well, not just to get to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, everybody tries to get to Aaron Rodgers, but to control Aaron Rodgers, keep him in the pocket, be able to disrupt his timing, and to keep him from throwing the ball effectively. I say that all the time, but that's what we have to do today, because Aaron Rodgers is a master at moving around his offensive linemen. They know him so well, what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, and they set defenses up so he can do those things. I mean, it's a planned attack. So we got our hands full today. We'll show you in a little while how I think we could actually stop Aaron Rodgers today.
And piggybacking off what Randy White said, the Cowboys defense is going to have to play well, Bill. They can't hope for Aaron Rodgers to play poorly. He doesn't play poorly. He never plays poorly. And more than anything, please don't let him start smiling. When he starts smiling, that means it's going well. Or if he does this, that means it's going really well. well.
Well, it went really well for one Cowboy last year up in Green Bay against the Packers. He only had 19 snaps in the game, and David Irving was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. And the Cowboys get David Irving back today after his 4-game suspension. How big is this, Randy?
Well, now you got a guy that's shown that he can put pressure on the quarterback. He's 6'7". He can put his arms up. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not sure if they're going to play him outside, inside, where he's going to play.
I think they may do a little bit of both.
Yeah, and so he's going to create a problem in there with those long arms. And if he can get in front of Aaron Rodgers, he can make a big difference. And you know, we'll get into Lawrence also.
Well, let's get into Lawrence because DeMarcus Lawrence, what the Rams did last week is they double teamed him a lot, or at least they would have a running back chip on him or whatever, and that is big because you got to have other guys step up, right?
Yes, when you're double teaming Lawrence, and Lawrence, you know, he's had a lot of success. Now he starts drawing these double teams. Well, the other guy's got to pick it up. Somebody's got to get in there. Irvin, you know, maybe he's the guy. Maybe, okay, you double team Lawrence. Now Irvin's going to get in there. He's going to tear him up. That's the kind of the way you have to do it. They used to double team me and Chip Harvey, you know, but then we had Ed and Schmerick and Larry Cole and Jethro Pugh, all the other ones on that other side. You know, if they started doubling us, somebody else was in there making the play. So,
hey, 90s Cowboys, they doubled Charles Haley, and Jim Jeffcoat had nearly 100 sacks in his career. Anthony Hitchens back for the Cowboys today. Looks like Sean Lee won't be back once again. They'll probably give him another week to get over that hamstring, but big getting Anthony Hitchens back.
No, Hitchens is a top-notch player, and I'm glad to see him back in there. That gives me a lot more confidence in that defense, you know, because when Aaron Rodgers runs, you got to have a linebacker that can come up and put a stop to that also. And I think Hitchens has the kind of ability to do that, just like Sean Lee would if he was in there.
Sean Lee is the best linebacker on the Cowboys. Anthony Hitchens is the fastest linebacker on the Cowboys. They need that speed as they chase Aaron Rodgers around the field.
And it's been tough having Jalen Smith. He's basically a rookie. He's in his second year, but he is a rookie, and even from a mental standpoint, just handling everything that's being thrown at him. Now, as far as the weapons that Aaron Rodgers has to throw to, you've got Jordy Nelson, you got Randall Cobb, you got Devontae Adams if he comes back from the concussion that he suffered last week. But these guys are definitely all on the same page. Well, they've been together forever.
They play together. They know each other so well. Jordy Nelson and Aaron Rodgers, I think these guys spend so much time together, they know when each other breathes. So, you know, that just means you've got to break up that timing and confuse them and mess up their game plan. And that's one of what it's going to be today.
How great is Aaron Rodgers? If it's not Jordy Nelson, it's Cobb. If it's not Cobb, it's Adams. If it's not Adams, it's Geronimo. Who's Geronimo Allison? All of a sudden, we know his name. But here's some names, Bill. Jordan Lewis, 3rd-round pick out of Michigan. Xavier Woods, 6th-round pick out of La Tech. And Cheeto Awuzie. Well, he's a 2nd-round pick who hasn't been on the field much, but they are the trio of rookies the Cowboys are counting on. They do everything together. They said they were going to taco night. Forget taco night. Make Aaron Rodgers your taco today.
And Cheeto apparently is going to be able to play. Might see a little bit of Awuzie at safety as he work him back into things, but I've really been impressed with the tackling ability of Xavier Woods at safety. I wouldn't be surprised if it won't be long before Xavier Woods maybe even assumes a starting role in that secondary. These young guys need to step up in a big way today, though.
Well, that's a good thing about young players. I tell you, they're capable of coming up with some huge, big plays from time to time, and that's what we're going to need today. We're going to need some big turnovers, interceptions, caused fumbles, good tackling. If we can do those things, I think our odds and chances of winning go up.
Unfortunately, young players are also capable of making some big misplays as well. But we won't get into that until a little bit later. Coming up, the Manster going to buckle up his chin strap and show us how a Hall of Famer would contain Aaron Rodgers. But first, time for our Frontier Communications trivia question. Only 2 players in NFL history have at least 500 career pass attempts and a passer rating over 100. Can you name them? We'll have the answer after the break.
Oh, come on. Come on. That's Rodgers and Brady. That's Rodgers and Brady.
You think?
I don't know.
The 2 players in NFL history have at least 500 career pass attempts and a passer rating over 100. Did you name them? Well, Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott.
Wow.
So, Rod Marinelli, what's the secret to stopping Mr. Rodgers?
He can spin out one way deep. He can drop out, come back to his right. He steps up, Whoosh is out, so. And he's obviously a great pocket passer, but we got to make him a pocket passer. We have to keep him in there and pressure him that way. Keep him in a well and close it on him.
Well, apparently great minds think alike, because Randy White echoes what the coach says right there. It's demonstration time as the Manster shows us exactly how the Cowboys need to keep Aaron Rodgers, what do you call it?
You want to keep him in a well. You want to keep him in
like
this
on the
area.
CBS eye right here.
Yeah.
This is the pocket. I'm Aaron Rodgers.
That's where you'd like to keep Aaron Rodgers, in this well. What Aaron Rodgers is going to get out. If I'm a pass rusher, I'm taking off. I get boom, whatever I do to get around. Now this tackle, he's just going to keep pushing me. And and Aaron Rodgers is going to go move here, and now he's open. He's on the sideline. So when I get even with Aaron Rodgers right here, when I get even, I got to stop and come back. And even if I got to stand here and play patty cake until I can make a move, I do not commit. Because the second I commit, Aaron Rodgers is gone.
Out the back door, right?
Same way as these guys in the front. If I take off like this, boom, Aaron Rodgers get a chance to step up. This guy turns, they play this. Now I'm trying to get back to him. Aaron Rodgers looking downfield, making completions. So it's important when you get even with the court, you stop.
Keith's doing a great job keeping the Manster away from Aaron Rodgers.
He's putting no pressure on me, by the way.
Keeping me out of here, but this is what we want to do. We want to keep Aaron Rodgers here. We want to keep him here. We don't want him going out here, or being able to step up. And hopefully we see him in the crouch position. When you see him like this, that means you're getting him.
Do that again, Randy. Do that again.
I only had one of them in me.
We saw an example in the Broncos game earlier this year against Trevor Siemian, where the Cowboys defensive line did not respect the running ability of the quarterback. A lane opened on a key third down play, and Trevor Siemian was able to get a first down and sustain a drive, and the Broncos got a touchdown.
And also, we're talking about Hitchens being in there. Okay, say he does shake loose. You got a linebacker that can come up and nail him before he gets that first down yardage. That's important too. All right. We got to keep him in the well. Keep him in the well.
On the CBS 11 eye right here.
Gobble.
And then push him over the well, and then we win the game.
What the Cowboys need is the Manster keeping him in the well today. All right, up next, we discuss the other quarterback. What's going on with Dak's accuracy issues? Or does he have accuracy issues? Plus, 4 games in, why is Zeke and the running game still struggling? We've got the answer after the break.
It's time for the Nissan On the Road Report. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
It's mostly mentally of just knowing exactly where I want to go with the ball, giving myself the right time, and then different progressions, not necessarily going through some progressions faster than others. I think being early to throw some throws sometimes. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that go into it, but I'm just consistently just working.
Cowboys game day continues now as we get you set for the 3:25 kickoff this afternoon. Cowboys and Packers. Bill Jones, Randy White, and Keith Russell. We've broken down Aaron Rodgers. Now, how about the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott? The story on talk radio all week long was what's wrong with Dak's accuracy. He's not been able to connect with these wide receivers. What do you notice about Dak and the wide receivers, quote unquote, not being on the same page, Randy?
Well, I don't think it's anything that panic mode. I think Dak just needs to relax in there, get his confidence level back to where, he feels comfortable with the receivers and where they're going to be. And also, our offensive line has to do a better job of protecting for him. This year, he's had far more pressure in these first few games than he had most of the year last year. So that's a combination of everything. I wouldn't say what's wrong with Dak. I say it's just a matter of the offense getting everything together and start gelling as a unit.
This offense does not look as diversified right now as it did at this point last season. Last season, we noticed the emergence of Cole Beasley. Jason Witten was a constant target. And this year, it just seems like it's Zeke, Dak, and let's try to get it to Dez. Witten was missing in action last week. Where's Cole Beasley? He was such a force last year. We know Bryce Butler made some big catches in Arizona, but I think the Cowboys have to get back to spreading it around to all the weapons.
Well, and also our running game has not been up to snuff of what it was last year, so that puts more pressure on your quarterback. So, I mean, it's just a matter of the way things are going. If we can get this running game going, and Dak, I think, like we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, he has the ability to be that same type of a quarterback. Now, I'm not saying turn him into a running quarterback, but I know for a fact, because I used to chase him around, that's very frustrating when a quarterback can run the football for the first down and put you up against the wall.
And things like this, where he's able to escape, throw the football downfield. Now, he has made some connections when he gets out of the pocket and has done some stuff with his feet as well. He needs his wide receivers to catch the football, too, when he is on target.
Good point. That's a good point.
That is a great point. I mean, you know, catch the ball. That's all the receivers. You know, when the ball hits you in your hands, you know, catch the football.
Yep.
If you don't catch it, knock it down so they don't get an interception.
Well, you had that big drop by Dez in Denver that turned into an interception. And then you had last week on the two-point conversion down. The ball was slightly deflected, but when it hits Terrence Williams in almost the head and in the chest, you got to catch that ball, Randy. Got to catch that ball.
Well, we're talking about professional football players. If you're a pro, you're supposed to make those type catches. So, I mean, and that's something that can be corrected almost immediately. They just need to do it.
You know, and one of the other things I think needs to be pointed out about Dak is that some of the stuff where he hasn't been on target with his passes, it's been a collapsing pocket around him. And he is a quarterback that needs to have his footwork right. He's very good rolling out on bootlegs and that sort of thing, but he's got to have his footwork right in the pocket in order to be effective, which gets us to the offensive line. And the run game. You mentioned the run game needs to get established. That's the difference, I believe, between this year and last year, especially from the beginning of games. The Cowboys were able to establish themselves. And get this, on first down last week against the Rams, Scott Linehan was stubborn running the football on first down, and the Cowboys weren't effective. These were in two tight end formations. Ezekiel Elliott on first down last week had 12 carries for just 23 yards.
Yeah, that's tough. I tell you, you know, and that's just a matter of winning the line of scrimmage now. You just got to get up there, and last year we were beating our guys. Now, I don't know what the problem is this year, whether teams have...
One of the problems is that guy, Aaron Donald, last week.
Well, Aaron Donald, Mike Blockert, he had two of the best in
the... got Mike Daniels this week on that defensive line.
So you got some great players they've been playing against, but that's no excuse. We're supposed to be the best offensive line in football. You just got to start making things happen, and I think when you do, I think you're going to see Zeke's performance level improve. I think Dak's performance level is going to improve. But that offensive line, it's the key, and they got to start winning that line of scrimmage.
Who knew they would miss Doug Free and Ronald Leary this much?
Hey, and I think they got a lot of credit for being really good players, and in fact, Ron Leary got a lot of money for being a very good player with the Denver Broncos. But yeah, and it takes some time for an offensive line to gain cohesion. The other thing that's happened, I think, here lately, and especially last week against the Rams, I think Tyron Smith was bothered by that back issue that flared up, caused him a miss of practice. It looks like Tyron Smith's going to be able to play today, but you need that multiple-time Pro Bowler protecting Dak Prescott. And then there's the other element with Ezekiel Elliott, and it's catching the football out of the backfield. And I think that one thing that the Cowboys can do is to go to their 11 formation, spread the field a little more. They will open up some running lanes maybe for Zeke and also in the pass game.
Well, I mean, Zeke is a playmaker, so you got to find a way to get the ball in his hands, because more times you get the ball in his hands, the more chances you're going to have big plays. So they just have to find a way to do that.
You see the way the Rams use Ty Gurley? That's the way the Cowboys should be using Zeke Elliott.
Well, and yeah, they did it very effectively last week. But this Packers defense, it's an interesting blend, and you've got some name players over there, including one Clay Matthews, who has a habit of getting to the quarterback throughout his career.
Well, yeah, Clay Matthews is a heck of a player, and you got this guy Daniels in the middle. He's kind of out of the mold, one of these 6-foot-tall, 300-pound guys that got a big motor like Donald was last week. You know, he's going to play today, so we'll have our hands full. He'll get a big test with that. But, you know, those linebackers, you know, he blitzes, he comes all over the place. So you're going to be ready for him.
And he had Wade Phillips, one of the top defensive coordinators in the league, a 3-4 defense last week. And you got Dom Capers in his 3-4 defense this week. All right, up next is the kick returner. Too confident. And would the Manster actually pick Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to win today? First, time for the State Farm most valuable possession. This morning, we look at wide receiver Bryce Butler. The 27-year-old has made the most out of his 6 receptions this season, converting 2 of them for touchdowns. He uses his speed and jumping ability to make big plays down the field.
It's time for the Nissan Drive to Success. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
A look at the NFC East standings, sponsored by Nissan. Oh, this does not look pretty, Randy. The Eagles in first place all to themselves at 3-1. They host Arizona. Cowboys and Redskins 2-2. Redskins on a bye this week, while the Giants 0-4 try to go to 0-5 against the Chargers right here on CBS 11 at 3:25 this afternoon. Kick off the Cowboys and the Packers. And we've talked offense, we've talked defense. What about special teams? And special teams came up huge in a bad way for the Cowboys last week as Ryan Switzer muffed the punt that set up a touchdown for the Rams. Have to be better in that department, Randy.
Well, you have to know the field position. You have to know the time of the game, and you have to know when you can take a chance and when you can't take a chance. I respect the young guy that wants to make a big play, but you got to use your head. The coach got to tell him, hey, look, we don't care. You use your imagination sometimes, but you do what I tell you.
He's a very confident guy, but this is the NFL, and you got to understand where you are on the field.
Yes, exactly. Field position's huge.
All right,
some swag.
Time to make our picks. Okay, Randy.
Cowboys.
That took a lot of time.
All right, I'm going to quote Orlando Scandrick. He said, opinion is what people think about you. Character is who you are. I think the Cowboys show their character today.
All right, they need to show their character against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Again, if the Cowboys win, they get to 3-2 going to the bye week. A loss, and Randy's not going to be in a good mood when he joins us next week on a bye week. Yes, we will have Cowboys game day next week at 10:30, even when the Cowboys aren't playing. We've got the Giants and Chargers at noon. We'll see you tonight on CBS 11 News.